Okay, so a very good afternoon to all my dear students. So in the last class, I have already given some idea about plasma and how plasma is generated, what is plasma, and I have also shown some applications in form of some videos. And there are a few more videos which I wanted to show you. I just wanted to tell you that it can be influenced by magnetic field, but let's see whether today we can show it. Otherwise, in the next class, I'll be showing that videos, that small video. Uh, so today, mainly I'll be focusing on the machining purpose, or how the arc is generated, and how we are going to do machining, what is a schematic diagram, working principle, etc. Okay. All right. So in the last class already, I have said that plasma arc machining is something where we have to generate, or we have to develop plasma, and then we have to create an arc. The arc can be transferred as well as non-transferred. So two types of arcs we can have, and it is kind of a fusion process, where a thermal process where we are going to perform melting and vaporization of the workpiece, wherein the covalence is produced by heating the work with a constricted arc, which will be established between non-consumable tungsten electrode and workpiece, or between a non-consumable electrode and constricted nozzle. So this is something which is the main working principle. So first and foremost, I would like to draw the diagram, and I will expect that each of you will draw the same diagram, and then I'll be explaining the working principle of it. As I said, we need to have a non-consumable tungsten electrode. This plasma arc machining, similar to laser beam as well as electron beam, can also be used for welding purpose, which is known as plasma arc welding. So already you people know about MIG and TIG. Anybody? Can anybody tell what is the full form of MIG and TIG? Can anybody tell what is MIG and what is TIG? Hello? Anybody listening to the class?
Sir,
Ah,
metal inert gas, sir.
metal inert gas welding.
Mm,
Okay. And what is TIG?
uh, Tungsten inert gas.
Okay. So metal inert gas welding and tungsten inert gas welding, right? So these are the two processes. Okay. Now in every class, Manideep, I find that you only will reply, but other students, they will not at all respond in my class. Okay. So anyhow, it is very good sign for them that government also is passing everyone. So you people also will pass, but problem will be where once you are going to get a job. I don't know whether you people are listening or not. Those who are listening, for them, this is the message, that it will be very difficult for you people, because almost more than a year you people are listening to or you are habituated with online class. So if you don't make use of it properly, then you have to face consequences when you are going to you are going for job interviews and all. Okay, fine. So Manideep, you only answer. What is the difference between MIG and TIG? Basic difference. Can you tell?
Sir,
What is the difference between MIG and TIG? Some basic difference. Can you tell?
mm, in metal inert gas welding, we are using some flux material, sir.
Acha, and that, what about TIG?
In tungsten, no, sir. We will not use, sir.
We are not going to use any. Okay. Next, any
Yes.
other thing you know?
Uh, in in metal inert gas welding, when welding is continued, it will take time to cooler, sir. Cool the metal time. In
Is it
tungsten,
so? Okay.
it will clear fastly cool the metal, sir.
Okay. Then
Then in metal, all types of metals are used, sir. Tungsten is only tungsten is used here.
okay.
That's I know that only, sir. That's much only.
Acha, but you said, but you did not say the actual what is the difference? Correct difference. You did not point out. Okay. The thing is, in case of metal inert gas welding or MIG, we are going to use consumable electrode. You know what is consumable and what is not consumable? Acha, can anybody, like you people already know about normal MMAW? Yes or no? That means manual metal arc welding. You people know it or not?
Yes, sir.
You know very well what is manual metal arc welding. In workshop, you have already done. Yes, from first year onwards, maybe you people are doing. So this is about so in case of MIG, we are going to use consumable. That means the electrode will be decayed or it will have some sort of decay. Okay, and then it will be helping us in case of machining process. But in case of TIG, we use non-consumable electrode. That means that tungsten which we are using will not be decayed or it will not get decayed. But the point, is it clear? I hope now it is clear, right?
Yes, sir.
So here you do this like this. Okay. So this is something in plasma arc welding machining also. We use non-consumable tungsten electrode. Just everyone draw the diagram with me, and then I'll be discussing with you few more things. In exam, the diagram which now I am drawing, you have to draw this diagram only. Well, so everyone draw this diagram, and once you have finished drawing the diagram, just let me know. Just inform me once you have finished drawing this diagram. Or else I'll be sharing one screen. So there also one another diagram, same diagram only. Okay, same thing you can just draw. Now I think it is visible in a better way. So meanwhile you draw, let me also tell you, just note down the points also. It is better that you note down the points. So in the last class already I have said that a gas molecule at room temperature will consist of two or more atoms, generally H2O2. I am talking about bimolecular gases. Already last class also same thing I have said, and I have said that in order to form plasma, it is better that we have a gas which is either bimolecular or more than that, or we will have more molecules, right? So when this kind of gases are heated to high temperature in order of 2000 degrees C or so, or sometimes it can go for 5500 degrees C, then the molecules will separate out as atoms. And how it is getting separated in last class I have said that also. Then once the temperature is raised and raised more, then the electrons from some of the atoms will get dissociated and the gas will become ionized, which will consist different ions and electrons. And the state of the matter, actually the state of the gas, is known as plasma. And I said during this process many photons will get released, and because of that the plasma is a glowing and ionized gas, and that can result from heating of a material to extreme high temperature. And it is composed of free electrons which are dissociated from the main gas atoms. And I have already said that this plasma is also known as the fourth state of matter, right? So we have already generated plasma. I said I'm not going to discuss, I'm not discussing this diagram now. Okay, just I'm giving an overview, and then one by one I'll be showing each and every parts, how things plasma is generated, and what is the difference between transferred arc and non-transferred arc. So those things I'll be discussing with you, okay, with the diagrams. And the temperature of plasma can be of order of 33,000 degrees Celsius. And when such a high temperature source reacts with work material, the material melts out and may even vaporize. And finally, it cut into pieces. And many metals, you can say like aluminium, stainless steel, etc., will have high thermal conductivity, large heat carrying capacity, okay, and it is, and their good oxidation resistance. So as a result, these kind of materials cannot be cut using conventional techniques like oxy-fuel cutting, but these materials can be easily cut by using plasma cutting. So here from the diagram you can notice that this one this one is the non-consumable tungsten electrode, non-consumable tungsten electrode, which is connected to the negative terminal of the power supply in order to have more number of electrons, or in order to have electron emission. That's why a negative supply is connected with it. And the positive terminal you can see is connected with this part as well as this part with some resistance in this case. But in case of transferred and non-transferred, there is a little difference, that in case of non-transferred arc we will have connection only with this, and that means not this nozzle. And in case of transferred, we will have connection with this. Anyhow, I'll draw the diagram and I'll see what is the difference. Okay, because that is very, very important part, right? Now you see how it works. You can see like different parts. First I'll tell different parts, and then we'll see. So tungsten electrode we have seen. Here we have kept some insulator. This is some insulating system, and in this process, this nozzle temperature may raise very high, and in order to avoid that, or in order to avoid any damage in the nozzle, so internal cooling is done. Internal cooling is done. So with the help of some water supply continuously. And here, this is the inlet chamber of gas or plasma gas, which I said it can be nitrogen, hydrogen, argon gas, even oxygen also. That should be supplied in this place through this. Now our intention is what? We have to superheat the gas. superheat the gas. Which gas? This gas, which is known as plasma gas. Okay, so it will move in this way. Anyhow, here we have got the gas chamber. This one is the gas chamber. Which gas chamber? That also I'll say you. Actually, one thing is not mentioned over here. I'll be discussing you. Actually, this portion is empty. This portion you can see. Don't make any mistake. This portion is empty. Okay. So that from here, this gas chamber is written. No. So this gas will be flowing in this direction. And that part I will be drawing in the diagram. Okay, first let me explain from this diagram, then I'll be explaining like what is the function of this gas. And which gas? This is which gas? This is shielding gas. Okay, you know shielding gases are helium, krypton, argon, xenon, radon, okay, neon, these gases, right? Or you can say inert gases, which are known as inert gases. What is the function of that also? I'll explain. Then this portion is insulating portion, or this is an insulator, and here we are going to have some spark. Then we will have the formation of plasma through this way, and this is nozzle already I have said, and this is workpiece, and this is the fixture, okay, or the table, you can say work table. And this is something like what is DC power supply, okay, the DC power supply, right? So I think you people have understood the construction of it apart from this way. Now let me explain you the process. So initially, as we are connecting negative terminal with this non-consumable tungsten electrode, that's why their electrons or number of electrons will be in more in number. And you see, we are connecting the positive terminal with this nozzle. So what will happen in general? These electrons will start moving in this direction, or the electrons will get attracted, and you know about cold emission, which already I have discussed before, and that will take place. So electrons will start moving in this direction, and these gases, these biomolecular gases, are also moving in this direction. Okay, so what I said, the electrons which is coming out in this direction will hit the bimolecular gas and will cause the rotation of atoms. Due to that, high heat will be produced. Okay, high heat will be produced, and that high heat will heaten this gas even more and will raise the temperature, and that depends on the power supply. Okay, and then that will be even driven in this path, or it will start moving in this way, and it will strike on the workpiece, and this workpiece will make. So here we are going to generate plasma which is flowing in this direction, as we are having many electrons in this, and this workpiece also is connected with the positive terminal which will attract. So due to the flow of plasma, we can find some melting and vaporization on the surface of the workpiece, which will lead to formation of crater, or removal of material. So this is not the end of the story. There something is missing, which now I am going to explain. Okay, so you people have a look on this. So I said you that we are going to use some inert gases. I said inert gases. So from here, I said some inert gases are coming out. You know very well what is the function of flux. Flux material in MMAW. Okay, you will have electron gun or electrode. You will have some electrode, and there will be some coating. What is the function of the coating? Can anybody say me? Can anybody tell me what is the function of flux? Or can anybody say what is the function of inert gases in MIG and TIG? I said metal inert gas welding, tungsten inert gas welding. What is the function of this inert gas? And here also I said we are going to use some inert gas which will come out. This is inert gas. Can anybody tell me what is the function of inert gas? Anybody? Hello? Is there anybody who can reply? No, no, no. Function of flux is not to remove waste material. Now I am randomly asking to check whether they are listening to classes or not. Likhit, are you there in class? Acha, Vishwateja. Vishwateja? He joined and okay, good. Unwanted chemical reaction. It is fine, you can say unwanted chemical reaction, but precisely it should be called as oxidation. Okay, oxidation. So in order to avoid oxidation, we are going to use inert gases or flux materials, okay, in during welding. So you know very well that this is exposed, or this workpiece is exposed to the environment where we have got oxygen, and it will form oxidization. That's why this shielding gas or some inert gas which is used over here will form a coating on it, on this place. So it will prevent oxidation, not oxidation. Okay, so there will not be any form of oxides or metal oxides, right? So this is one factor which we need to consider in order to get a good weld. Okay, I hope you people understood the working principle, and here we are going to use non-consumable electrode. But here in this case, sometimes we use some filler materials also. Remember it, that sometimes we use some filler materials also. Okay, in oxyacetylene gas welding, you know very well that we use inert gases, filler materials. Okay, so here also it can be used. I am not telling all the time it is used, but it can be used, right? Okay. Now moving ahead to the basic two types of arc formation. Okay. Once I said you already about transferred arc. I said you about non-transferred arc. Okay. So I already discussed during EDM what is the difference between spark and arc, and you people know very well what is an arc, right? So this plasma arc machining or plasma arc cutting system uses DC power source. Already I have mentioned it, and the systems operate either on non-transferred arc mode or transferred arc mode. So first I will be drawing a small diagram of non-transferred arc mode, and then we will move forward to the transferred one. Okay. So in case of non-transferred one, you have already seen that we are going to have a nozzle. Here we are going to have electrode. Okay. So nozzle, electrode, these things already you people have seen. And you know very well that electrode is connected with the negative power supply, and the nozzle is connected to the positive power supply. Here we have got the workpiece. Okay. And this here we are going to create the plasma which will be transferred or which will be coming towards the workpiece surface, and here it will cause damage. Okay, from here it will remove materials. Okay, so this will be the diagram of non-transferred arc, whereas in case of transferred arc, the difference is we are going, just a minute, let me draw it. Okay, so here same here my negative power supply, but power supply will not be giving to here. We will be giving for the positive power supply to the workpiece. So this is the difference. Okay, right. So in the non-transferred case, the thermal efficiency is somewhat low. Okay, here thermal efficiency will be somewhere around 65 to 75%. And power is transferred between the electrode and the nozzle. Okay, and because of that reason, the flow of plasma towards workpiece will not be more, and that's why the efficiency also gets reduced. Okay, but in this case you see, okay, in this case we have connected the positive supply to the workpiece, and that's why these electrons will be coming, or this plasma will be moving towards this with high velocity, and hence it will give more efficiency. Okay, let me finish this first. So this non-transferred arc, it will ionize a high velocity gas that is streaming towards the workpiece, and the workpiece in this case may or may not be electrically conductive. So the advantage of non-transferred mode is that here anyhow we are not connecting the positive power side of the power source, and that's the reason why we can machine metals and non-metals. That means electrically conductive materials as well as electrically non-conductive materials. But in case of transferred arc mode, the arc is maintained between the electrode and electrically conductive workpiece. Here the workpiece has to be electrically conductive, otherwise we cannot connect the positive supply, as I said. Okay, and the arc heats a coaxial flowing gas. Okay, so it will be coaxial flowing gas, and it will maintain the plasma state, right? And the efficiency, thermal efficiency, you can say electrothermal efficiency, it is eta is somewhere in between 85 to 90% in case of transferred arc mode. Okay, and this plasma machining system can deliver up to 1000 ampere at about 200 volt DC. So I said 1000 ampere, 200 volt DC. Okay, right? And the gas pressure also matters. What will be the pressure through which we have to insert the gas, that means plasma gas? That will be somewhere around 1.4 MPa megapascal. Okay, which will result in a plasma velocity of several hundred meters per second. And if the gas flow rate is high, we will be getting more momentum of plasma jet, and that will ease out removal of the molten material from the machining zone. Okay, and this plasma jet is constricted by the flowing gas, okay, which will act as a coolant, which will be sandwiched between nozzle valve. Already in the diagram which I have shown, you might have seen that here we are having the coolant. Okay, it may be some gas also, some water also. Coolant system is something like a sandwich structure. Okay, and as I said, that melting and vaporization, this is the mechanism. Melting and vaporization, this is the mechanism behind the material removal in case of PAM, okay, or plasma arc machining, right? So you people already have understood how the plasma is forming. Even in case of plasma formation, in the previous videos we have seen that we are igniting it by the help of some pumping medium, and the pumping medium is something like a fluorescent lamp. Okay, so these things we have seen in the previous case, right? So this is something about plasma generation. Okay, so anybody has any doubt? Anybody has any doubt? Okay. Now, one more thing I would like to discuss over here, that uh, there are two ways to generate plasma. One is thermal method and another one is non-thermal method. Thermal and non-thermal method. So here I would like to give a small few information that in non-thermal method of heating the gases, or here, like, our intention is ionizing them, okay, and ionization only will help us to generate hot plasma. So this can be done by applying a suitable electric field across the gas column, or by exposing the gas to ionizing radiation. Okay, so this second one which I said, that means exposing the gas to ionizing radiation, is somewhat uncommon method. When the gas are heated by an applied electric field, then an igniter will supply the initial electrons, which will accelerate in the field before colliding and ionizing the atoms. And the free electron will get accelerated and cause further ionization and heating of the gases, which I have already shown, I have told in this case. And this will continue, this process will continue until and unless a steady state is obtained, in which the rate of production of the free charges is balanced by recombination and loss of free charges to the walls and electrodes. Okay, so this is something which I wanted to discuss over here. Okay, I hope you people understood. And the core temperature, like here the core temperature will be somewhere around, as I said, 1600 degrees Celsius, 1600 degrees Celsius. Okay, anyhow, in the next class I will be discussing about the parameter and the mechanism of it. And then some as I already today I have discussed the modes of DC plasma torch, that means this non-transferred as well as transferred one. Okay, so these two things already I have discussed, but there are few more modes, like turbulent mode, laminar mode, I'll be discussing in the next class. Next, how to design the plasma torch. So that also I'll be discussing in the next class. Okay. So many other things are also there, but I don't think those many things are that much important for you. Okay. So if anybody has anything to ask, you can